Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. As you already know, Florida rapper Julio was ambushed on his 26th birthday outside of a Holiday Inn. After being unalived by his ops, Charleston White is now weighing in on the situation, and he says that nobody out there needs to be sad because Julio is no longer here because of how the young guy lived his life.
Well, y'all, they done got that black ass boy. I say they done got that Julio boy. I told them they would go get him. Yeah, nah, well, I didn't tell them they would go get him. I just knew they would go get him. Because the boy works hard to get got. Nah, that nigga works hard to get shot on. Man, they shot his foot off last year, give him that pirate nub. Man, that nigga supposed to nigga got his foot shot off, ain't supposed to be bouncing around on his birthday. Man, get somewhere and sit down and rest that foot and work your hips, nigga. Nigga supposed to be fucking. And then I'm thinking, at the Holiday Inn, what the fuck? Man, nigga ain't no protection on a nigga at the Holiday Inn. They ain't even got valet parking. No, man, that's why I go, man, the Holiday Inn. Man, I guess when you got an entourage of niggas rolling around, you can't go get one of them high dollar rooms. Nigga, you got to go, yeah. And everybody saying, man, what you think about this? Well, all I'm gonna say is, man, that nigga works hard to die. Shit, he earned this here. Shit, nigga, and goddamn, should nobody be sad? Way that nigga live and talk gangster, should nobody be sad what done happened to Julio? One thing we know about it, he didn't go to heaven.
That same cut, what's name?
Yeah, now one thing about it, he ain't in heaven. Nah, wait, that boy, he had all the time in the world to apologize to them people. He was going to the graveyard, rapping at the graveyard. Man, that nigga making people mama cry. So shit, it's some people relieved, wiping their forehead saying, "Ooh, Lord, thank you." And then there's some people crying, said, "Oh, we gonna miss one leg, one foot." Oh, that's what the Indians would call him. The Indians give you a name, Blackfoot, Lightfoot. The Indians come up with it. Pale skin. So we go. I don't know, Yeah, no, nigga, 1 foot. Yeah, they got 1 foot, and then they know he can't run. Yeah, they know nigga can't sprint with that motherfucking platter foot. Yeah, nigga got that platter foot. Nigga can't just take off running and pivot and so they got him. And it ain't funny, but nigga, it ain't no dishonor and death at all. And I'm just saying, if just so happen I die, I give everybody to make fun of me. I give everybody permission right now to make fun of me. Guess what? I ain't gonna hear it. I'm only gonna be fucked up if I hear it. If I be fucked up, I can die and hear people laughing at me.
Oh my goodness, Charleston White is a hot mess. Listen, I don't find anything about this funny, because anytime a young black man is gunned down in his prime, I think it's sad, especially when that young man was still living in a willful state of ignorance in which he didn't understand his full potential and may not have even had the chance to get to know God. Now, instead of blowing up the party balloons and celebrating this dude's death, joking around like Charleston White, or dropping videos like Yungeen Ace, we should be hoping that as this young man took his last breath, he was able to repent and make peace with God. Because when we celebrate people's deaths and we act like it doesn't matter and we're not sad, all it does is reinforce the fact that we really don't care about our fellow man. And one of the reasons why a whole lot of these young men are running around the streets shooting each other up and acting like feral hooligans in the first place is because they believe that no one really cares whether or not they live or die. So they adopt the attitude that they don't care whether or not they live or die. Look, unlike Charleston White, I'm saddened anytime one of my young brothers is cut down in the streets, especially when they die over nothing. Real talk, I don't know whether or not Foolio was unalived because of the rivalry between Yungeen Ace's crew ATK and his crew KTA, but I do know that the feud between these two Florida gangs has already caused the deaths of too many young people. I mean, when you look at the timeline, this mess is absolutely ridiculous. Alright, so this is how it goes. Yungeen Ace and Foolio's vicious beef dates back several years, and their issues came to a boiling point in 2017 when Foolio's cousin Zion Brown was pow-powed and killed at just 17 years old. Now, DeAndre Thomas, a known associate of Yungeen Ace and his ATK crew, was charged with the moiter soon after. And we know that DeAndre Thomas is associated with Yungeen Ace because 7 months prior to the tragic incident, Thomas and Yungeen Ace had been implicated in a conspiracy to rob a drug dealer at Orange Park, for which Yungeen Ace pled no contest. Now, in retaliation for Zion Brown's moiter, Yungeen Ace along with 3 others were targeted. 18-year-old Royale Devon Smith Jr., aka 23, 19-year-old Jacoby Deshard Groover, and 18-year-old Trevon Bullard, who happened to be Yungeen Ace's brother, was shot in 2018 when they were out celebrating Trayvon's birthday. Now, despite being lit up 8 times, Yungeen Ace survived the ordeal, even though the rest of the victims, including Ace's brother Trevon, succumbed to their injuries.
A shooter or shooters on the run after 4 teens are gunned down to the south side. What we're learning about the men killed in a drive-by shooting. 18-year-old Trayvon Bullard, 19-year-old Jacoby Groover, and 18-year-old Royale Smith. They lost their lives late last night.
A family friend of Kenyatta and Trevon Bullard tells News4Jax that the 2 brothers were out with Royale Smith and Jacoby Groover Tuesday night celebrating Smith's birthday when the celebration turned to tragedy. Police say the men were all riding together in this car on Town Center Parkway when people in another car that pulled up beside them started shooting at them. Kenyatta Bullard, who goes by the nickname Ace, was the only person in the car who survived the attack. A family friend says Kenyatta Bullard is an aspiring rap artist. His younger brother Trevon goes by the name Quan. He had just graduated from Richview High School last week.
Alright, so shortly after the incident took place, Yungeen Ace took to Instagram and he wrote, "8 shots to my body, God still got me here. I wish this wasn't part of his plan." And then he came back and dropped another post that said, "23, I tried to shield you. Little bruh, I'm sorry." Alright, so while Yungeen Ace was grieving the loss of his little brother and his friends, Julio Foolio celebrated the pow-powing on social media with a whole bunch of disrespectful posts, and even included one post that showed him wearing a shirt with the late Royale Devon Smith Jr.'s face on it that read, "Rest in piss, 23. Oh my goodness, these dudes are just so disrespectful. Anyhow, shortly after that, sources in Jacksonville allege that Julio Foolio's mother was shot in retaliation for Ace's brother. But I'm saying that with a really strong allegedly. I mean allegedly with all capitals, because even though that's what people in Jacksonville are telling me, I have not found any legitimate news sources that actually say that and confirm that. Now, 6 months later, in January of 2019, rapper Boss Goon, aka Willie Addison Jr., and a number of his family members were sprayed up outside of the Paradise Gentlemen's Club in Florida. Willie Addison was unalived, and his brother Hakeem Robinson, aka Kesu or Queso, an ATK rapper, was also hit during the incident.
Another violent night in Jacksonville. A total of 6 people shot.
1 person has died and 5 others were injured after gunfire erupted about 2 this morning. Now, this incident began at the Paradise Gentlemen's Club on Bay Meadows Road, and it ended 6 miles away on Spring Park Road and Emerson Street in the Inglewood area. Thanks so much. Now, the victims in the shooting were taken to Memorial Hospital this morning. 25-year-old Willie Addison died at the scene.
Now, the Jacksonville rapper, Boss Goon, Mr. Willie Addison Jr., he lost his life, unfortunately, right after his performances and right after coming home from a 10-year bid. But we're going to get to some of the witness statements and what they said that happened during that night.
They're all expected to survive.
The first thing that went through my head was, why would anybody want to hurt Willie? Like, everyone loved him. He was a people person.
We spoke with a friend of Addison's who didn't want to reveal her identity for safety reasons. She says Addison was just getting out of prison. He served a 6-year sentence for burglary and perjury. She says he was turning his life around and focused on his music.
He was an up-and-coming artist. He was always rapping and making songs. What he loved to do was he loved to freestyle. That's what he did.
In a state.
Jacksonville has ongoing beef that's relentless. A lot of young folks are losing their life. Boss Goon was heard to be a great man, a great individual, but we're gonna let his sister break things down and tell us who more the Jacksonville rapper was, because things are not making sense. A man comes home from a 10-year bid, less than 6 months away, he loses his life in a cold-hearted situation right after performing.
In a statement, Addison's sister tells News4Jax Willie Willie was not and is not a gang member. Willie was a rapper who spoke to people, so don't get confused with him being a statistic or a product of his environment. Police have said they believe the victims were targeted. They range in age from 20s to 40s. No names aside from Addison's have been released.
Now, we just got some new surveillance video. Take a look with us here. In the video, you can see a silver SUV driving along Emerson. Seconds later, 2 other cars follow, and at the bottom of your screen there, you'll be able to see a group of people. They turn their heads in that parking lot as witnesses say the gunfire just broke out.
2 weeks later, a young man named Damon Ramathor was pow-powed and killed while riding his bicycle on Emerson Street, and police said that Ramathor was hit by a stray bullet during a shootout between cars. They also allege that the shooting occurred because of the rivalry between ATK and KTA. So basically, one of these groups was looking for a little get back and he accidentally hit an innocent bystander who was doing nothing except riding his bicycle down the street. Woke up in the morning, decided to get a little exercise, and was unalived because these dudes have absolutely no sense. Now, because they missed their mark, they were back at it a few days later, and in retaliation for Boss Goon and Hakeem Robinson's ambush at Paradise Gardens, KTA's Charles Quentin McCormick Jr., aka Little Buck, was popped and succumbed to his injuries. Now, Dominique Barner, who has connections to ATK and 2 others, were charged with the moiter in connection to not only McCormick's death, but also Ramathor's death. That was the dude on a bike. And after Barner was arrested and charged in connection to McCormick's moiter, he was recorded by a confidential informant in jail saying that the reason why he allegedly wanted to delete McCormick was because McCormick made a song that talked despairingly about Boss Goon, aka Willie Addison. Okay, so basically, these dudes are doing drive-bys and spraying each other up and doing all types of stuff because their egos cannot take somebody dissing them on a track, which tells me that none of these dudes need to rap. Because if your ego is so fragile that you can't cope with somebody saying a few negative words about you over a beat, then maybe hip-hop is not the field that you need to be dealing in, and you need to find something else to do with your life. As a matter of fact, if you're a rapper who recently got dissed on a rap song and your first inclination is to go out and delete the rapper who dissed you, then what you need to do, you need to put that microphone down, step out the booth, go outside, catch a bus to the nearest hospital, walk in the building, walk up to the desk, and tell them to put you in a psych ward. Why? Because you, sir, or you, madam, are mentally unstable. I mean, are you guys kidding me? How childish can you be? If somebody calls you a name, shake it off and keep it moving. I mean, you guys are down there deleting each other in Florida for stuff that most normal people learn to deal with when they're on a playground in like the 5th or 6th grade. Oh my goodness. What do you mean you had to take him out because he talked despairingly about your friend? Now, your stupid behind is going to spend the rest of your life in a 6x6 cell because you took out the stick and broke his bones because names were able to hurt you. I mean, what type of childish ish is that? Anyway, the cycle of violence didn't end there because the following month, Julio Foolio's 16-year-old brother, Adrian Gaynor, aka Bibby, was murked at Hilltop Village Apartments in Jacksonville. After Bibby was deleted, his mother Elizabeth Gaynor said, "He was a joy. All he did was laugh and dance. Nobody can do anything worse than unaliving my child." Alright, so after Bibby was wiped off the earth, both Julio Foolio and his girlfriend were injured in pow-powings aimed at deleting them, and once again, the unaliving of a teen, this time Bibby, was celebrated by ATK's Queso after he released an album disrespectfully titled Bibby Out, with pictures of the fallen victims on its cover. Yo. All I want to know is who raised these fools, because none of them seem to have any respect for life. Now, as you may have already guessed, Yungeen Ace was later ambushed in March of 2019 while at Waycross. Ace once again survived the attempt on his life, but along with 3 men arrested for the incident, a 30-year-old man named Jeremy Alexander Brookins also lost his life. In the very same month, Queso was arrested for the moiter of Bibby and Little Buck after bragging about the moiters on social media.
We're now getting a look at the moment a Jacksonville rapper found out he was charged with first-degree murder. First Coast News has obtained the interrogation video of Hakeem Robinson, also known as Queso.
We're going to be out there doing some paperwork. You do have a warrant for your arrest.
We have a warrant for your arrest for murder today.
What?
Yes.
For what?
You want your lawyer, so I can't tell you no more, but you'll be in trouble.
What the hell?
And that warrant was for Robinson's arrest in the death of Adrian Gaynor, also known as Bibby. He's also charged with first-degree murder in the death of Charles McCormick.
Now, in an interesting twist, Queso's father, Abdul Robinson Sr., who police say is the leader of the group ATK, or Ace Top Killers, was also charged with accessory to murder after the fact, and his brother Abdul Robinson Jr. was also charged with second-degree murder in connection with the death of Damon Rothermel, the dude who was riding a bike. Now, later in March 2021, Yungeen Ace alongside Fast Money Goon, Whopper with the Chopper, and Spinner Benz released the track Who I Smoke as a diss track against KTA. Then, Foolio responded weeks later with his own diss track against ATK called When I See You. Alright, so fast forward to April 2023. Foolio and his crew arrived at the burial site of Royale Devon Smith Jr. to film a music video for the rapper Jake Jitt. Then, the group released a plethora of photographs disrespecting the burial site by showcasing their middle fingers, holding their shoes up, and throwing gang signs. Now, based on the way the rest of this video has gone so far, you may have guessed it, Jake Jitt was the next to go, because he was later killed in a car chase and that took place in August.
Hey man, stay safe world, you already know how we coming. We got some tragic news coming out of Jacksonville where Foolio associate Jake Jitt was unfortunately hit up on some GTA shit yesterday on a highway and crashed into a parked semi-truck on the I-95 in Jacksonville, man. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries and his ops wasted no time posting about it in the most incriminating way possible.
Do your research, I said Jake could be a pet.
Now, rewind, because 4 months before Jake Jitt got it, Foolio's crew member BGYBZ was pow-powed and deleted in May of 2023. After the pow-powing, ATK member Antonio Tilley Jr. put out a snippet of a track on social media dissing YBZ. Now, this resulted in a 20K hit being put on him. Tilley was then pow-powed and deleted while traveling in an Uber in October of 2023. Unfortunately, the Uber driver was also taken out during that incident. Alright, so a few hours after Tilley was deleted, Foolio was also pow-powed once again while driving a black Dodge Challenger near the 3100 block of 18th Street West in Jacksonville. Foolio was able to drive himself to the hospital and he survived. Now, a few weeks after Tilley was wiped out, 22-year-old Jaquan Mills was charged with his murder alongside 23-year-old Diamond Michaela Harris, who was charged as an accessory after the act. Alright, so after that, Julian House, a member of Foolio's crew, who went by the name Rico Osama, started constantly mocking the deceased Tilley on social media after the rapper was deleted. So, in December of 2023, you guessed it, Osama was then deleted alongside 2 other people at San Juan Avenue. While the other 2 victims recovered, Osama succumbed to his injuries. Now, between 2023 and 2024, there was a whole lot more back and forth between these 2 crews, until Foolio was murdered on Sunday morning in a Holiday Inn parking lot while celebrating his 26th birthday.
Bullet holes riddled the windshield of this car in the parking lot of the Holiday Inn on East Fowler Avenue.
2 cars were shot at. 4 people were shot in total as a result of this.
A Jacksonville attorney confirmed to us the victim is 26-year-old Charles Jones, better known as Julio. The attorney says Jones was in Tampa celebrating his 26th birthday when he was reportedly ambushed in the parking lot. Police say the other 3 people were hospitalized but are expected to survive.
We are working to learn what led up to the shooting, motive. You can see behind me a lot of officers are here. They are talking with witnesses. They are looking for video.
This isn't the first time Jones has been attacked. Just last year, the rapper was shot in a Jacksonville parking lot. He was wounded but survived. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office called that shooting an ambush.
Meanwhile, just 2 hours after Foolio went to meet his maker, Yungeen Ace released a new music video for his new track, Do It, in which he's standing in the parking lot of a motel talking about somebody getting murked, which undoubtedly will lead to more violence because that's like throwing a match onto some gasoline. Now, after Yungeen Ace dropped his latest video, rapper Tay Capone jumped on Twitter to share his thoughts, and Tay Capone said, "Rest in peace, Foolie, he was cool as hell. We chopped it up multiple times. He was a supporter of mine too, so it's all love. But this is the main reason I stopped dissing the dead. The universe has a funny way of showing you the same ish that make you laugh, make you cry. I done seen this before. Well, at least I'm glad to see that at least one person gets it. Anyhow, when discussing all of the violence in Jacksonville, JSO Chief of Investigations TK Waters said that ATK may be linked to more than a dozen Jacksonville moiters and other crimes committed in response to perceived insults. Waters said, it's a range of things. It could be drugs, it could be something as simple as me making a rap song about you and you don't like it. So, one of your friends, one of your associates says, we're gonna get back and we're gonna do something, and they'll start a pow-powing war. Jacksonville's current sheriff also weighed in on the murking of Julio Foolio, and he says that these two gangs actually think that this is a game. Check this out.
I mean, unfortunately, I think young people think this is a game, and you know, there'll be comments about this in the statement that I make, and they make it like it's a video game. It's not. This is real life. So he has a mother, you know, he has parents, siblings, probably friends, and they have to deal with these kind of losses, and it's unfortunate. Now the next thing is these groups, and I won't name them, they know who they are. We're not going to tolerate any retribution, any revenge. We're going to watch. We're going to be around, paying attention to what's going on. But it's unfortunate. It should never happen to our kids. And I've never seen so much devaluing of human life. You know, it's like it's fun, and they talk about it in rap videos and songs, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Let me tell you something. This whole thing right here is extremely sad, because when crews get into a cycle of get back and retaliation, all it creates is a never-ending cycle of bloodshed that will not stop until somebody wakes the hell up and realizes that your dead homie wouldn't want you to be buried 6 feet deep right next to him in the grave, or spending the rest of your life locked up in a 6x6 jail cell. At some point, these young guys need to realize that there's more to life than street beef, and rap beef is definitely not worth dying for. So what somebody dissed you on a track? Take it on the chin and move on with your life. Now, I get it. You're heated because your boy is gone or your brother's gone and you want to get some get back. But the best thing that you can do for your friend or your loved one is to live and actually make something of yourself. Because if you follow each other into the ditch, or should I say the grave, all of you have done nothing except live and die in vain. Listen, let me know what you think about all of the back and forth between Yungeen Ace's crew ATK and Foolio's crew KTA that most likely led to Julio Foolio's untimely demise the other night. And also, let me know what you think about Charleston White. Do you think that he's right when he says that we shouldn't be sad for these ninjas because they're their own worst enemies and they're working overtime to get murked by their ops? Let me know what you think about that in the comments, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.